Hello, I'm Dave, and today we're going to be discussing herbs. Okay, got a bunch of general principles to cover, and if you are zoning with me, you're familiar with my second brain. So I have here some notes to keep me on track. My clients will know my phone being my second brain, but this will do as well. So um, there has been a lot of questions throughout my time being a foot zoner of how to use herbs, how to dose them. So I want to cover all of the frequently asked questions. So, can we combine herbs, or is it safest just to just do one herb at a time? Yes, typically you can combine herbs. Uh, I just like to throw everything together and just drink it down all together. So it really doesn't matter. Um, Sometimes on occasion I'll just do one single herb for a purpose. It just depends on what your needs are. Okay, and I do have a few things as a show and tell. I'll be bringing up and showing you guys. Okay, so can I take herbs in a capsule? Is it better to do a tincture? Which herb should I do a tea? You know, generally it doesn't matter the form that we use, whether it's a capsule or a powder or a tea or a tincture. Um, but there are some strengths and weaknesses with each of those doses. I'll just give you a quick example. Um, Burdock tincture isn't going to have the fiber with it. It's still going to be amazing for arthritis pain, but you do not have the fiber that's going to help with your digestion. So you need the physical burdock root to help you to feed the good gut bacterias. So that's where you should really have a physical entity. My all-time favorite way of taking herbs is in powder form. They are cheap, and there are benefits of tasting, which we'll cover in a minute. It is good to experience the flavor of different things. But anyways, this is just straight to the point. You don't have to wait 15 minutes for the tea to be made. You just mix in water or juice and just take it. So the other form I mentioned earlier would be a tincture. This is actually a vegetable glycerite. They are made with vegetable glycerin is sugar alcohol, and it has nothing to do with alcohol. I actually like the non-alcoholic tinctures because, and this is a whole nother video, but alcohol itself has a lot of toxic effects, and our bodies know how to metabolize sugar way better than all the stuff it has to go through to destabilize, to stabilize the body and to get rid of the alcohol once you consume it, even in small amounts. So I think that, in my opinion, the vegetable glycerite tinctures are better. You can also infuse herbs in vinegars and oils. It's all medicine doing that way as well. We don't often think of it this way, but we can take herbs as a form of lotions and creams and salves. So this is all I have right now, but there are essential oils in this one. It's a really good muscle rub. A couple classic ointments that you might have heard of would be chickweed in an ointment for itching. Okay, powerful anti-inflammatory for itching. And then you have arnica, which is a good pain reliever. You can consume chickweed, but you cannot consume arnica. Arnica is only best as a liniment, so mixed in with alcoholic base and rubbed on the skin where it hurts. Why alcohol? for the skin because that will absorb really fast and get to the root of the pain. Um, and then going back to essential oils, um, this is another one of my favorite forms of taking herbs. They're wonderful topically, so you can put them on a painful inflammatory spot or joint. They're best to use a carrier oil with it, such as olive oil or coconut, so as to not irritate your skin. Um, there are mixed feelings all over the place with ingesting oils. Some say you can ingest them, they're safe. Other sources say don't do it. I say you pray about it. I personally do consume oils internally, and I have seen a lot of benefit doing that. And then some people who say that they're safe, you can take up to like 20 or so drops in a day. I do not do something like that. I usually stick below 5 drops a day if I need them. But that is for you to decide for yourself and do your own research with the quality of the essential oil. Capsules, that's an option. We can take capsules of our essential oils. The only downside with that one is it will most of the time, they will open up in the small intestine. Sometimes we need the effect of the herbs a little bit sooner up. And then you don't get to taste the herb, which, as I mentioned earlier, there are benefits of actually experiencing the flavor of them. So we have here a huge bag of dandelion tea and a tea ball. Now you can strain your teas with bigger things, strainers that covers your whole pan, but just for convenience sakes, we have a little tea ball here. Teas are a classic way to take herbs. You infuse the herbal medicine into the hot water or cold water if you're making a cold infusion. Stick it in the fridge overnight. Boom, you got a cold infusion. Again, the only downside with that, besides it takes prep work to make a tea, if you don't consume the leaves or the root, whatever you're making a tea out of, you're not getting those beneficial the fiber for your gut bacteria. So, which is why this is my number one favorite every time, because you get a lot of benefit. It is easy, just down the hatch. So, okay, I keep mentioning this and we don't cover it yet. So there are 6 different tastes that I would like to cover with you. And with our vast array of herbs that we have, we experience all sorts of tastes. We have the nice spices that we put in our soups and grills and just whatever food we're making, we can put spices in there. And then we got the not so tasty herbs that you either have to just grin and bear it and take it, or you have to hide it in chocolate or a jelly or something, right? So we have sweet, salty, sour, bitter, astringent, and pungent. Specifically in Ayurvedic medicine, they explain to us that we really need to experience these flavors and tastes throughout the day, every day, so that we have a healthy brain and healthy bowels and healthy just everything. If we don't experience all these different tastes, we're lacking. We're not having certain neurotransmitters fire up. We're not getting certain benefits of the digestive herbs. So the bitters and the pungent, they are really good for digestive health. They don't taste that great. They may smell awful, some of them, but when you eat it and experience that flavor, your bowels, your liver, and pancreas are trying to apologize to you for taking in something so gross, and so they shoot out all of their digestive enzymes, and that actually helps you digest your food better. It is a really important thing. A classic bitter herb that people used to use all the time back in the day. A little cup of tea with it um, helps them to digest better before meals if they have weak digestion, and that is gentian tea. Tastes awful, extremely good for our digestive health, which is really, really sad. Like, we have this wrong attitude that if it doesn't taste like Doritos or cheeseburgers, then we're not going to eat it, right? Well, it is very important to taste and experience the herbs. So, let's do that. Okay. So, when combining herbs, like I said at the beginning, most of the time you can combine them and you do just fine. I wouldn't combine too many sedating herbs at once. It might really sedate you, but you can safely combine like a valerian and a skullcap and even a chamomile. All of those can be sedating and calming, but you just have to be smart with the amount, how often, and when. So, herbs and drugs, for obvious reasons, we need to be very careful and knowledgeable about those. Sometimes, on very few occasions, an herb will help a drug very well. They combine really well, okay? They actually have a synergistic approach. Most of the time, you should not do that. So a drug that sedates you and an herb that sedates you is a no-go. You're going to lower your blood pressure way too much. You might not wake up. So don't do that. So with the drugs, originally drugs came from herbs. Anymore, we can pretty much, they're all lab synthesized nowadays. But in the earlier days, they took out actual components of a plant and put it inside of a drug. So we don't want to overdo it, overdose, okay? So just safety things there. Okay, so an herbal Sabbath. What do I mean by that? Take a day off every week or every couple of weeks from your herbs. If you're taking a good variety of them, then, just kind of keep track. Oh, I took this herb way too many times in a row. Maybe I should take a break, and then we'll give another herb that break next, another day. With the adaptogen herbs, it is really smart to take like 3 days off in a row after a couple weeks of using them, or a month. Just you gauge how you feel, okay? Adaptogens are the adrenal modulating, helps you adapt to stress, helps you to adapt to life, those kind of herbs. Many of which can be extremely demanding on your health and your body. So that's why we need to take a longer break with adaptogens. And some of them are really not safe to do long term. Just, do it as needed. A reishi mushroom is a good example. That is a phenomenal adaptogen. It is anti-cancerous. However, overdoing it, doing it for way too long, can be damaging to the liver. You see, even something natural can be harmful if done for a prolonged period of time. So be smart about those. Take your herbal Sabbaths. Okay, let's talk about when we get sick. So how do we take herbs when we're sick? So first of all, get a proper diagnosis, a proper identifier. What caused you to be sick? Is it a bacteria, a virus? Obviously, if we have a viral infection, an antibacterial won't do the trick, right? So if a doctor gives you an antibacterial, an antibiotic, and you have a viral infection, well, really? So when you start feeling sick and you're pretty certain it's a virus because it's up here, then start early on taking some immune boosting immune modulating and antiviral herbs. So begin just as soon as your partner or friend or spouse or whatever, or kids, grandparents, as soon as they start getting symptoms and start showing things, you should probably start taking something so that you don't catch on and get it, right? And then feel bad for them and give them the herbs as well, because we don't want them to suffer. So as early as you can detect it, start taking the herbs. And then often is the next principle. We need to really attack it, right? When we're at war and we just shoot a couple bullets out there every once in a while, are we really going to make a difference? Probably not. You got to attack that